Howdy, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Dirt Info Podcast. If you could, as always, hit the like, subscribe if you're new here. Even if you're not new here, you can still hit either one of those. We don't mind. But anyway, with that, it takes us to our next segment. And
it's called Stylin and Profile.
Thanks, Rick. Carter, I'll have you go first.
Mine, last week I believe I showed a Harris class shirt, but it was from one I wasn't at. But now I have the one, oops, from the one I was at. That's the trophy on the front. I was confused what it was at
Oh,
first,
nice.
and then yeah, there we go.
Oh, right on.
But yeah, so I figured I'd get one I was actually at instead of one I wasn't at.
I like the back because it has the three different classes.
Oh
I've been
yeah, all
thinking.
three cars.
Yep. So I've been thinking about if we do merch that we would probably do like a late model, a modified, and a stock car on the back, kind of like quasi wrapped in like Dirt Info podcast stuff. Um, but then I was also thinking pocket tee with just our logo right on the front. Anyway, that's stewing up there. So the shirt reminded me of it. We'll workshop it some more, Carter. But anyway, I've got my Jeremy Nelson shirt on, and so this is Jeremy Nelson number 4. So up in my area there are 2 Jeremy Nelsons. This is the one from Alexandria. But uh, when I bought this shirt, it was kind of cool. So I swung through once and I talked to Jeremy's dad. And I asked about a shirt. And he's like, you've got the wrong guy. Like, come back later. And I was like, 10-4. And so when I swung back again, I asked if they had a big man size, and it turns out he did. And so I bought it. And as I was leaving, I heard Jeremy walk back into the trailer. He's like, "All right, got rid of my last shirt." And I was like, "Yes, I bought the very last one." So I thought that was kind of cool. So I dig this shirt. It's a tough wear because it's white, and I'm just hard on equipment all the time. So I managed to keep it white enough to wear on this. So that's a minor miracle. But anyway, um, I didn't go racing. I said I wasn't going racing, and I didn't. So Carter, what did you do this weekend or this past week?
I had 4 planned, and we got 2 in. Tuesday, like we mentioned, I went to the Harris Clash at Boone, and the main takeaway there was they had corn nuggets, which we mentioned Marshalltown had. Boone had them. I got made sure to get I got one when we got there, and then I was like, I'm gonna get one more before this thing's over.
Yeah.
But the racing was good. They had way more cars than I thought. I think it was 231 was the number they had in 3 classes, which
Dang.
yeah, I was very pleased with. I was hoping like I think 180 when we were going there, and then like we are on the way and they had my race pass open and they're over 180. It's like okay, 200. I just kept raising my goal. But yeah, they exceeded it, so I was happy with that. And then Ricky Thornton showed up, which I don't know. I knew he was coming before I left. I don't know if we knew that on Monday or not. And then Ethan Dodson showed up, obviously, so that was cool. And they started on the pole, or they started on the front row. They were in the same mod heat, and they were both on. They were first and second, which I thought was funny. It felt like it was like 2019 or something when they were both running out in Iowa, in modifieds. But Ethan Braxma won, who we've talked about a bunch on here because he's won seems like everything this year, it feels like. And then Jake Sacco won the sport mods, and Caden Reynolds won the stock car feature. Yeah, it was the heats were really good. The features weren't the sport mod feature was good. The stock car and mod, the winner kind of like there's especially the mod. There was no point where I was like, oh, Braxton's gonna get past. The stock car, I thought maybe Thornton was gonna get there, but he never did. But the sport mod feature, there was a caution with like I think on the white flag, and I don't remember the guy's name, but a guy from Nebraska was leading it, and then Sacco threw a slide job coming to the white on the restart. So yeah, I was entertained by that. But the heat races, there was a bunch of close finishes in the heat races, like point zero zeros on the timing and stuff like that. So we'll take
Yeah.
that.
Well, I imagine most of those heat races were pretty loaded too, right?
Yeah,
So
when you got like 70 or 80 mods, whatever it was, yeah.
yeah, yeah, they're pretty loaded. So
And
yeah,
then
right on.
uh, I think last week we said I had 2 plans for Friday. Originally it was going to be if I couldn't make it to Darlington, I was going to go Pecana or WIR on Thursday and Seymour Friday.
Okay.
Um, And then I was like, okay, I think I can make it to Darlington Friday, so I didn't go to Kaukauna. and I was kind of tired anyway, so I wasn't too upset about not going. Um, and then Friday, I was not going to make it to Darlington. I got done too late,
Yeah.
and it's like almost 4 hours, so I just went to see more. But the one plus side is they got done at 9:30, and I was home at like little after 10, so I'll take that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Take an early night. But that was the last race of my weekend. So rained out
Yeah.
Saturday. I was on the way to Plymouth. I was like an hour. It's an hour and 10 minute drive. I was like an hour there, hour down the road, and then they canceled.
Mm.
And I was driving through storms the whole time. I was like they haven't canceled yet, so maybe it's gonna just stop here eventually. And then it did never stop. They eventually canceled. Um,
Yeah.
and then Sunday also it rained during the day. But then and all the rain from yesterday I think kind of just washed them out. It's too
Hmm.
wet because the rest of the night was pretty nice out, but unfortunately the day before kind of screwed Luxembourg. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough to make those calls, man.
yeah, that was the
So,
first rain out in a while though. So if
yeah.
early start of the year it was every week it was a rain out. So hopefully
Yeah.
they can get their championship night in this week, but we'll see.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't go anywhere racing, but I did actually find myself kind of wheeling around in something that we've talked about before. So uh I wouldn't it doesn't count as a race because there wasn't a second UTV for me to challenge in a circle, but my dad picked up a UTV this past weekend and we showed up over there to help him move some stuff around, and I saw it in the garage, and we were delayed moving stuff around. I jumped in, started it up. Sherry comes out and she's looking at me like, "Is this all right?" And I'm like, "It's my dad's." Yeah, like even at my age, I think that rule still applies. It's my dad's. Yeah, it's fine. Let's go. So jumped in and ripped around in that. So that was pretty cool for sure. But other than that, I did actually watch quite a bit of racing. So suppose we should probably move on and call this "What Did You Watch?" The thing I found myself more interested with was definitely Lucas, although admittedly, the split features on Thursday and Friday. I mean, they're good races and all, but it just, I don't know. It doesn't have this. It's not the same draw to me. When you split a field, it's just kind of it's slightly boring to me for some reason. It's like we could have a better race than the
We
one
just
we're
combined
watching.
them all, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like we're wasting time. So, not to say that the racing wasn't all that good, but I didn't follow that closely. Although I did see on Thursday, the winners were kind of interesting. Alberson picked up one, and Dalton Wilson picked up the other. So, um, some younger guys, but Thursday or Friday was more of the same. But anyway, Saturday had my attention, and right about the time that JD and Bobby were popping off on track, the Knoxville Nationals were also restarting from the halftime break. And so I managed to find a way to watch the Knoxville Nationals thanks to a kind person who helped me out. So I had it on my phone was Lucas, and on the TV was Knoxville. And Knoxville's like starting up, and I'm like trying to want to watch it. And then JD and Bobby are just like throwing elbows for 4 straight laps. So by the time I got back to the Nationals, Tim was checked out. But anyway, I thought it was wild seeing them and like with half a race to go, just all of a sudden one driver decided it was go time, and the slider over the nose and then a near wreck down the front stretch, followed by another near wreck down the front stretch going the other way. And it was all something. And so I enjoyed it. It was definitely entertaining. After the race, everyone seemed a little hot. So JD, the part that probably made me giggle the most about all of their after race interviews was someone, I presume, yelled, "Kick his ass, JD," and he just sort of chuckles and goes, "Yeah, he deserves it." So in that respect, it seems JD's definitely reached his fill. Um, but yeah, I thought that was good, hard racing, a bit entertaining. And I'm curious to see what we're gonna get out of him come down the stretch, because I don't know. It's not the first run in that Bobby's had with someone over at Lucas, so the Lucas guys seem to not care for him very much. But you don't seem to have much to say on the topic, so
My
I'll
take
just
is we'll get absolutely nothing out of it because how many times
uh,
have we seen guys, I'm gonna wreck this guy, JD and and Thornton
You
had it, and what do we have? Literally
I
nothing from it.
I
That's what's
hear
gonna
you,
happen.
right? It seems like everyone gets the tempers a flare afterwards, and I think part of that is that they're professional race car drivers
Yeah,
and they're pissed when they get out of the car and they realize that they've probably done that one way or the other, and it is what it is. But it's becoming a bit of a trend. I don't always think that Bobby is the cause of all of this stuff, right? Like I'm not blind and going he's the bad guy here, but I do just think it's interesting over this year that um, he seems to be the guy catching everyone's ire. In no small part because he's winning, right? Like, you win a lot, you piss people off. So I get that, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe it comes to a head, or maybe it's all or nothing. I think I'm not so as worried as like specifically Jonathan Davenport and Bobby Pierce. I'm more interested in like this is the fourth guy this year that seems to have been pissed off and said more or less the same thing about Bobby Pierce. And it's like, I don't know, does something eventually boil over with this, or is it just a bunch of talk for nothing? And you seem to think it's a bunch of talk for nothing, and you might be right. And the
I
history
mean,
probably is on your side a
yeah,
little
I,
bit,
I
but
wouldn't be opposed to something happening because we get it, we hear it said so much, but nothing ever happens.
hmm
And if something does happen, it's like from an incident that just like in that race that like it'll happen. Like it's never like from some like like it's like oh Bobby threw a bad slider in this race, so now I'm gonna wreck him. It's never just like oh I remember last week he did it, so now I'm gonna do it to him kind of thing. It's never like
yeah,
that.
so yeah, now the opportunity presents me in a different spot, and I'm gonna throw a short slider back or something, right?
Yeah, it's
Like,
it's it's
yeah,
it's always end up it's always from something in that specific race where they'll end up slamming into each other like this week pretty much. But yeah, I
yeah.
don't know. I wouldn't
Yeah,
mind
I'm
something
not
happening.
advocating for like wrecking someone down the front
Yeah,
stretch or anything, right? But like, I feel like at some point, all these he's owed one. We're gonna see, a not so great slider over the nose or something in return. Because like JD, I think JD's probably can live with that slider if it doesn't damage his car. But instead, he takes the nose up on one side, and he said the the tire was damaged and stuff. So like, you wonder if someone's gonna tag him back eventually.
there's a long line of people that are still planning
Claim
on
to owe
wrecking
him
Pierce.
one.
Yeah, we got a long
Yeah.
line. We got one that
I
started
mean,
about 6 years ago and
I
still
would be.
waiting on it.
I mean, to Bobby's credit, it's hard to owe him one if you can't catch him.
It's true.
So,
I feel like the only one that I remember like really trying is like Turbo. Like they've gotten into it a few
yeah,
times over the last few years, but yeah,
yeah,
usually no one really really gets them back like they say they're going to.
yeah. Well, like I said, if you're nowhere near him, it's hard to get him back. So, anyway,
I guess when do they
uh,
come back together? The world like Outlaws and Lucas guys, the world? Not
I
it's
think
not this weekend, obviously.
no,
And the weekend after, um, I think the Outlaws are in like Oklahoma, like Arrowhead or something weird like
Arrowhead,
that.
yeah,
So I guess
but Lucas is in over in they're out east, they're like Port
yeah,
Royal or something.
so
So
yeah, I guess
yeah,
Labor Day weekend. I know the Outlaws are off, and Lucas runs. I don't know where Lucas is. If guys will even go run there. I thought they were at Lernerville for the new location of the Hillbilly 100. So maybe
okay,
if Bobby
maybe
goes
not.
there, but I don't know if he'd even go there.
Yeah.
So I might be the
And
world.
maybe maybe that's the other reason it takes so long they forget they owe him one. Kidding. And again, I'm not really taking sides here. I'm more interested in this story than taking sides. I'm sure plenty of people are going to see this and take sides, but from my perspective, I'm not saying one's right and one's wrong. It's like the fifth guy in in the last 5 months to say something similar. So does it or does it not come to a head eventually? Um, but anyway, um, so you watched a little bit of late model racing too. I have it on our list that Mars was sort of the next thing to talk about. So, um, what went down with them?
Friday there at Sycamore. I didn't watch any of that, but
Okay.
I'm pretty positive Fager won that, right? Do you have that
Yeah.
written down?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And
He
then
did.
Saturday I watched Macon. So I had Macon on over Florence. I flipped to Florence once Macon was done. And Jake Little took the lead. I don't know when he took the lead, but he like was railing the cushion and took the lead. And then on the last lap, Unzicker or Little bobbled on the cushion in 3 and 4, and Unzicker was just kind of like in the middle, just pretty much drove by him coming to the checkered flag. So it was a good finish. But I was rooting for Jake Little because he was the underdog in that situation.
Yeah.
Was Little the one that got rolled by Gardner, or was that someone? Was that Darren Klein? Okay, I
Darren
knew
Klein.
it was a
Yep.
red car, and I
Yep.
couldn't remember who it was. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I was rooting for Little there, but it was a good race at Macon, so I was plenty pleased. I was kind of that was the one reason I was kind of glad Saturday rained out. I was like, oh, I can watch Macon and Knoxville. I could watch it. I was like, perfect, works for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I paid a little bit of attention to the Northern Lights on they ran on Friday at Fairmont, and I noticed Josh Angst won that. So he had taken a couple weeks off, I believe, and came back with a dub. So nice way to regroup and collect a check. Um, but then the one other thing that we mentioned that was going on this past weekend that we were a little bit keeping track of was the Street Stock Tour was wrapping up their season, and so they ended up getting 2 out of 3 in there. On Thursday, Hunter Carter won at Cheyenne, and then on Saturday, I believe it was Saturday,
Yeah, Friday
one of
rained
those
out.
days, yeah, one of those days. So Saturday, so on Saturday, Kyle Dykhoff walked it off, won the final race, won the season championship. That's a pretty good way to cap off a championship
He
season.
won 30
Win the
grand a couple weeks ago too.
Yeah, yeah, he's on a hot streak. I seen one of those DRC like content pieces. It was like, what's your go-to excuse if you don't win? And people had a bunch of different ones. And then I don't remember who was at the very end, but they just pointed and goes, he's here. And then the camera pans and it's Kyle Dykhoff. I was like, yeah, he's kind of on fire right now. Ain't he? So he's kept it going. But yeah. Yeah. So and now those guys are free to go run all the big specials that are coming up too. So the
Yeah,
season
it's
wrapped up
a
and
couple weeks
everything. So
until fall special season. So,
yeah, yeah.
and then
And
oh, I was gonna quick
you're gonna
mention
say it.
the Superstock Tour also
Yep.
ran Fastlane Superstock Series, I think it is. They were at Thunder City, Grand Rapids, I think Superior and Ashland, and Kurt
Yep.
Myers. I don't know who won each race, but Kurt Myers won the championship. So
Yep. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I saw that um on Facebook as well too. And I guess they have drops and stuff. So I like their post. It was like after we calculated all the drops and everything. So, uh, all right. So yeah, I did want to touch base too. We'd mentioned it towards the end of what to watch last time, so I figured we would touch it a little bit at the end of what we watched. But I did catch a fair bit of the Nationals on Saturday. Um and we were chatting about it a little bit before, but so Ryan Timms won it. We'll just say that he won the Knoxville Nationals. I am of the opinion that he won by so much it can't possibly be an upset.
I am not, I do not agree with that opinion at all. I feel like it did, I don't think anybody had him winning prior to like the Nationals starting. Maybe they did by Saturday, but I don't think he was on anyone's list to win it. I feel like, especially when Larson's won what the last two, Gravel, Messita, like
Yeah.
I don't know. I did not think he was going to be winning at all. I mean, he's been good at Knoxville
No.
this year, but a lot of guys have been good at Knoxville this year. And then as soon as Larson and them show up, they may run good,
That
but
doesn't seem to matter.
they're not
Yeah.
winning the Nationals. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would say it's surprising. My whole point was is he just won so dominantly that it at the end of it it was hard to go, that's an upset because the kid was out by like 3 to 4 seconds the majority of the race. Like no one was in his stratosphere. So like I agree going in, he was not a favorite to win it by any stretch of the imagination. But by the end of it, you're like, damn, he was the best on the property by a lot.
But I mean, like, I don't know.
And
I just think of it like a football game. If a team is favored to win by 30 points and they lose by 30, it's still an upset, like based off like, you know what I mean? Like technically it's still
but it's not that big of an upset. You get what I'm saying? Like it's surprising, but at some point they win by so much, you're just like, well, we were wrong going in almost. Like that probably shouldn't have been an upset if they whooped them by 30. Whereas if it's a last second field goal or something, it's like, oh dang, that was an upset. I don't know. I'm getting the same vibe here. If he'd like thrown a slider for the lead in the last 5 laps or something, I feel like everyone's like, that's such or I'm buying more of the that's such an upset. But when he
I think
was
it's just a more memorable upset, I think, in that like I feel like with not with this race, you just like it's an upset, but like we knew by the halfway point, oh yeah, he's winning this thing. And you already it was already like You're already past
So
the
does it
fact that
make it
it's
as historical? Maybe I'm not quibbling that it's
I don't
some
think
level of an
it's gonna be
upset.
like
I'm just saying I think it's
I
just
think it's
he is
definitely an
such a
upset. Obviously, if it was a last lap pass, it would be more remembered, like
yeah
overall, just because I feel like any last lap pass in a really big race is gonna be more remembered. He was the
yeah.
second youngest winner of all time in the Knoxville National. I thought he would have been first. There was a guy in like the
Me
60s
too.
or something. I can't remember his
Okay,
name. I saw it today. He was the youngest guy at 18 years and something, and
and some odd
it was
days
like
or something.
months that separated them, a few months or
Yeah,
something like that.
crazy. I definitely just sort of assumed at his age he was the
So
youngest
did
dude
I.
to have
Yeah,
won it.
so did
Yeah,
I
yeah,
until today.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, if he goes on to win three more of these things, then it's also not nearly as big of a surprise, you know. But I remember whoever it was in Victory Lane was like upset for the ages or some phrase like that, right? And I was like, no, wait, he
I mean,
kicked their ass too
he's
good
never
for it to
won
be like
an
that.
outlaw race. I don't think he's ever won a
Yeah.
high limit race. I mean, his first outlaw win was, I mean, assuming you
Oh
don't count the prelim night. Oh, did I cut out?
no,
Okay.
no, you're back. You're back.
Assuming you don't
Yeah.
count the prelim night, which I don't because
Uh-huh.
it was split. His first outlaw win was the Saturday night of the Knoxville Nationals. So
Yeah. Hell of a way to make a statement. And I'm not trying to discredit it in any way. I'm just going, he beat him by 4 seconds the whole race. The kid was too good to be. Anyway, but it was cool. I also, David Gravel coming from way back to finish, what was it, second or third was pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah, because
Yeah, just,
he won the Friday night feature, but that starts you way in the back still.
yeah, I think he was like 20th. I
Yeah,
think
I
he
think
started 20th. Yeah.
20th through 20, 21, 20,
Four.
21.
Yep.
Yeah, 24
Yep.
is
Yep.
the top is the Hard Knocks guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was kind of interesting too. But heck yeah, Ryan Tim's winning was cool. It was cool all the same, even if it wasn't a historic upset because he kicked their ass
It was
by
still
so
a new
much.
like
Yeah.
a new winner.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't, which I
It
don't even
de-
dislike him, but it wasn't a Larson or something like that winning. It was someone new that doesn't win
yeah.
often in big races this big.
Yep. I was gonna say there was a few months back we had a conversation where it's like I don't like when he shows up because he just kicks all their asses. And speaking about Larson, and so yeah, it wasn't him. So that's cool too. Not that I don't even like him. Just
Yeah,
I don't like when he shows up and
I
win
got
every
his thing
time.
right behind me. So
Yeah. Just win less. I'll like you
actually,
more.
I
I
got
don't
Gravel
know.
and Larson right behind me, best friends.
Oh, best friends. Yeah. So anyway, so we haven't done this next segment for a while, but the schedule lined up in such a way that it probably makes sense to do it. So we're going to do a regional roundup for the first time in a while. So if you're new here, the regional roundup is where Carter or I picks a region in a class that's got a lot hopping and we kind of run it all down. So for this one, we're going to do late models and it's kind of in the South Dakota, North Dakota, Nebraska region where everything's popping off now, but and a little bit of Minnesota because I'm going to
And
recap
Iowa.
and Iowa. Yeah, it's all there. So anyway, but this past weekend, the Wissota Challenge Series, we had brought them up last week. They got 1 of 2 in, and Jesse Glenn's won on Friday at Red Cedar, and then they were rained out at Rice Lake on Saturday. And then SLMR West ran Friday only last week, and they were at Thayer County for $3,000. And this one's always tough, but I think I got it. Tad Pospisil.
Oh, yeah.
He won, and so the West actually is popping off for a while here. I think the East is they might be mostly done with their season almost, but so the West is going for a while here, and we've got SLMR West Friday at Park Jefferson, Saturday at Shelby County, and then Sunday at US 30. And the Park Jefferson is for 5,086 and Shelby County is for 5,156. So a little bit higher purses than their normal $3,000. So kind of neat. And then NLRA ran last weekend at Jamestown, and Ryan Mickelson picked up the win there. I think you said you watched that. It
Yeah,
was
that was the only thing left running. But
okay.
aside from some West Coast stuff, so I turned on and it looked like it was rubbered. But honestly, I
Yeah.
didn't pay that much attention. But when I looked at it, it looked pretty. It looked rubber to me. But
It's funny in this day and age, you click and turn it on the
it
big
literally,
screen. We're gonna call that watching.
it's literally just like I was playing Xbox. I was like, I need something on this other TV. It's just
Yeah, so counts as watching. But anyway, so they have they're back again this weekend as well, and so they're in Red River Valley. They're at Red River Valley Friday and Saturday, and Saturday's a little bit boosted purse with $2,404 up for grabs. And then we've got the Tri-State late models joining the party as well. So just a lot going on. And so I believe they are Friday at Miller Central Speedway and then a rare Saturday at Casino Speedway. So Casino usually runs Sundays, and so they've got a rare Saturday show. I think they're calling this the Clash at the Casino. So in addition to that, they've got 4 or 5 other classes running too: Mods, Street Stocks, Midwest Mods, and Hornets. So interesting show. I want to go there so bad. I mean, I was plotting when I saw this again, I was like, can I make it work? I
How
cannot make
far
it
is it
work.
from you? Do you know?
If it's Houston-ish distance, it's 4 hours.
I know it's like, isn't it like just on eastern South Dakota? Like pretty close to Minnesota, I think. I don't know.
I think so. I
I
don't
feel
think
like I looked it
Houston
up
is
once.
particularly far in either, but it's probably at least 3 to 3.5, if not a little
Oh,
bit longer.
so pretty
So
much me going to any Wissota track in my
yeah,
state.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to. I'm really just trying. I went hard for 3 weeks, Carter, and I'm trying to be responsible.
Isn't isn't the World of Outlaws sprint cars within an hour of you this weekend?
They are. So anyway, wrapping up, that was the end of the regional roundup. Going into what we're doing, they are, and I want to go. Unfortunately, I do have a funeral to attend that day,
Oh,
and
okay,
so
fair enough.
yeah, yeah.
Are they
So
on Friday or Saturday?
they're on Friday.
Okay, I
Saturday
knew
they're down at
Jackson was one day.
Jackson.
I didn't know which one
Yep,
was which.
yep, yep. So, but yeah, no. Unfortunately, my cousin passed, who is close to my age, so
Oh,
it's an
yeah.
interesting one. Yeah, not to bring the whole mood down, but that's one I intend to go, and I'm gonna keep my day
I won't
mostly
judge
clean.
you for missing a race for that. That is a very, very valid reason.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah. Anyway, so other than other than that, that's a hard transition. Other than that, I, I love you, Ryan. Anyway, other than that, I'll probably just hang out, make some food, see family. Do the dad stuff and the family man stuff, and watch a bunch of racing again. But anyway, you're probably going racing. So what do you got cracking? You got a full schedule, right?
Yeah, every day except for today and maybe Sunday. And well, honestly, Tuesday I'm supposed to be at 141. Probably gonna rain out. I hope not,
Yeah.
but probably going to. Um, and it's for the Captain of the Creek, which is their 10,000 to win sport mod show. Tuesday's like qualifying night. Wednesday's supposed to be the main show, but if
Feature
Tuesday
night.
rains
Yeah.
out, it'll be Wednesday, Thursday, and I'll be there Wednesday. They still have a full show for mods, mod stock cars and something else. Street stocks, maybe? I can't remember. I think it's street stocks. No, it's legends. It would be legends on Wednesday then. Um, and then Thursday, I will be at the Hill Raceway in Sturgeon Bay for the Dirt Kings, which might as well toss them in the regional roundup because I'll be at
Oh
both of them.
yeah.
They'll be at Sturgeon Bay on Thursday, and that's the first time they've been there in a long. Well, Dirt Kings, I don't think I've ever been there, but first time late models
Yeah.
in general have been there in a long time. Um, so I'm curious to see how that goes. Um, they had 410s there for the first time in maybe ever last year, and that was pretty sweet. So hopefully late models work out good there too. And then Friday I'll be at Outagamie for the Dirt King show, and that's their 2 shows for the weekend. Um, and it's just their normal classes plus Dirt Kings. And then Saturday I'm at Luxembourg. They run Saturday because 141's off, so they decided to run their final point set on Saturday, which shouldn't really affect much. Like some guys might run Shawano, but all the guys really in the top of the points aren't going to go anywhere else besides Luxembourg, so it should be fine. If it doesn't rain. Weather, it's early, but weather's not looking great. And then Sunday I might be at Angel Park, but I'm not sure. So we'll see. It's IRA if I do go there, but we'll see what happens.
Right on.
But
Right
yeah,
on.
busy,
Yeah.
busy week. My last, actually no,
Yeah.
I was gonna say my last busy week, but in a couple weeks there, it'll be much busier than that. So
Yeah, putting the cart before the horse. Yeah, I think if I'm thinking the same one you're referencing, yeah,
yeah,
that's a real busy one.
and
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least this one, it's a lot of races, but I don't go any further than assuming if I don't go to Angel Park, they're all less than an hour away from me. So
Oh,
yeah, it's the furthest I would go would be 40 minutes. Just the hill on Thursday. So it's
really?
really
That's
not that
kind of
bad. I
nice.
don't even have to take off
Yeah,
of work or nothing for them. So
right on. Hey, that works out kind of nice.
yeah.
Um, yeah. Well, I'm actually there's a race going on this weekend that I actually really enjoy watching. And I don't think you're as enthused as I am, but the Topless 100 is always an interesting race. I always enjoy it. I think it was one of the first things I wrote up for when I was doing those write-ups for Dirt
Oh yeah.
Info. Yeah, yeah. But I think the reason I like it the most is we just don't get to see super late models on like this level with the tops off very often, and so I
Yeah,
think
that's the
it
one
adds something different.
that's the
Yeah,
one cool part about it to me. That's about it.
yeah. You can definitely tell they drive different
Oh yeah, I'm sure like
with the
Arrow and
tops
all
off.
that fun
Yeah,
stuff is way
yeah,
different.
yeah. Yeah. So I always find it interesting from that aspect that it's just a little bit different than what you normally see. But anyway, so they've got double features on Friday, 5,000 each, and then they're going for 50,000 on Saturday. So I'll probably catch that. And then the Outlaws actually have. I think it feels a little bit like a Carter swing,
Oh,
to
I
be
like this
honest.
swing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've got Highland on Wednesday, Spoon River on Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday they're at Maquoketa.
Yeah. Yeah,
Is is that the Hawkeye 100?
Hawkeye something. I think it's the hunt. I know it's
Hawkeye
Hawkeye
something.
something.
Okay.
Yeah, probably 100. It's a
Okay.
2-day show. This used to be at Davenport and now it's at
Yep.
Maquoketa. Um,
Okay.
I was looking at that. If for some reason Luxembourg rains out like super early, they're plenty close enough for me to go there. So, but unlikely, but it was something I looked at out of curiosity. So,
Yeah. Would be in play. All right. Well, we'll see. You've been known to get a wild hair every now and again. I guess it depends on what Sunday looks like too,
yeah, it
probably.
depends on Sunday. Honestly, if I
Yeah.
don't end up at Angel Park Sunday, I was looking at Dubuque just for their weekly shows. Who knows what'll happen? If
Right
I'm going to
on.
be in Maquoketa, I might as well get a hotel at that point because they're like half an hour from each other, a half an hour to an hour. So
True.
if I'm gonna be
True.
all the way out there instead of driving back and then going back the exact same way.
Right. We've been invited to Dubuque.
Yeah,
So,
it's been
we've said,
it's been a few years since I've been there. I think
yeah,
23, I
yeah.
think it was, something like that. So
Okay. Yeah. I think I remember you we were talking last time. You're like, I might be there early. I'm like, they'll put you to work.
yeah,
But
I was
anyway.
hoping, I wish they had a day off, a Sunday off. I think it was August 2nd, and it was one of my rare Sundays off. And I was like, oh, I go to Dubuque, and then they weren't even racing. I was like, oh, guess I'm not going to
Ah,
Dubuque.
dang. Right on. Well, I do like the weeks where you have a little bit of mystery because I'm even sometimes when we go into pre-show, I'm like, so where did you end up?
Yeah, it's pretty much every week. If there's any weather, there's a mystery.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
we'll
right
see what
on.
happens with weather.
Yeah. So, and then so I don't have any hope of going all the way down to Kansas to see this show, but the other thing I'm gonna at least be keeping a little bit of an eye on is we do have the Heartland Modified Tours kicking back up, and so they're at Humboldt on Friday, and then they're at Nevada Speedway on Saturday.
A
And I
long
can't
drive.
remember if is it? Yeah, I was gonna ask you
All the way to
what
all the
state
way
is
to Nevada.
Nevada?
No, it's in Missouri, right? Is it in
Yeah,
Missouri?
I couldn't
Yeah.
remember if the notes I passed along had that or not,
I don't even
but
know. I don't even
yeah,
think I looked at that. I just think I've heard of Nevada, Missouri
uh,
before.
yeah, yeah. So I figured, so not I figured these guys have been getting pretty solid car counts, so that is one thing I'm going to keep an eye on. They've been averaging, well over 30, so I'll be interested to see if they keep that up. I imagine, probably so. Humboldt is it's actually a really good modified track, so I imagine they'll get a fair bit there. I don't know much about Nevada, so
Yeah.
if yeah, might have to check out highlights or something to see what that place is all about. But anyway, other than that, I think that's everything we've got to cover as far as
I want to mention
plan stuff.
one thing that
Oh,
I forgot to mention earlier. Florence, first of all, Josh Rice was not in a modified, and they didn't even have modifieds at Florence. So
they didn't. Yeah,
apparently they got for the first time they got rid of them. It was the first time in a while. They had them last year. So I
really?
was right that they did
Okay.
have them, but they didn't have them this year, I guess. So
So
I
we
wasn't
don't.
wasn't going insane.
Yeah. So the thing that I saw. And we still don't know. It's all I'm saying. I haven't been proven wrong because there just wasn't modifieds to know.
No, but they did kind of tricky with the picture. It made it look like it might have been a modified.
Yeah,
That
yeah. I
picture
think
of
it was.
Josh Rice. It was just this late model. That's all. It was like the small part where it looked like it was not a quarter panel, sail panel.
Uh,
That's the word I was
Sale
looking for.
panel.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
yeah. They
But yeah,
tricked
no,
you with that.
they did. And then I think it was is what they were doing is his brother. Is it James Rice? Is his brother? I think
Yeah,
so.
I
Yep.
think that's right.
But anyway, so that was his rap company. So the logo
Oh,
they showed was
gotcha.
the yeah, Rapid Fire. I think it's called Rapid Fire. So anyway, that's what I picked up because I had mentioned it, so I was following a little bit along. That was what happened there. But anyway, all right. Well, with that, then we're definitely ready for Carter. It means it's time for.
The one for the road, and mine is something a little different than normal. So the World of Outlaws have been posting like vlogs on their YouTube, and it's the guy vlogging is Matty Watkins, who's the safety director for the late model series. And I've told Josh this before, but like the driver vlogs never interested me because I feel like it's the same thing like every week, and I don't know, I like the official side is just way more intriguing to me. And he's been doing vlogs. I think he's done 7 so far. His most recent ones were at Deer Creek, and he was like the first one of that big pileup. So that was cool to see. And like he's talking to Bobby, talking to
Am
the
I in the
track
video? I
guys.
was over there too.
You
No.
might have been in it. There's possible you probably were in it at some point, honestly, because he had the camera during hot laps like pointed towards coming out of turn 4 to the front stretch. So you may have
Okay.
been in it.
Who
Um,
knows?
but then at the start of the videos too, before they start racing, he's like walking around. You see him interacting with drivers and stuff. It's just stuff you don't normally see, um, like at all, really, like behind the scenes
Yeah.
with the officials and drivers. Like Boom Brakes makes a appearance a lot. Um, so yeah, it's interesting to see all that kind of stuff, and you see like when there's weather in the area, you see them talking it over. Okay, should we do this? All it's just a bunch of behind the scenes kind of stuff, and they're pretty long
Yeah.
too, which I like. They're not like little 5 minutes. They're 20. Some of them are even longer because they'll combine. If it's like a 2-day show, they'll sometimes combine them into one. But yeah, I highly
Okay.
recommend watching. I think it's called Watkins to the Races on the World of Outlaws YouTube channel. So highly recommend.
Yeah, I haven't checked him out. This is not the first time I've heard about it, and I've still not watched it. So maybe I'll give it a shot. My ears perked up when you said they even showed a little bit about the weather. Literally, even knowing we probably don't get to see 100% of that, I'd love to know what they're willing to show us. It'd be interesting
Yeah,
to see
well,
what that side of it looks like, right?
and
Like, what
like
do they talk? What do they consider? How do they
the
go
f-
about it?
the first 2 episodes were from I-55 when it was like super rough, and they were talking about that too, like because it was so hot out. They were talking about like putting more like why they're putting more water down, all this stuff. So, and he
Yeah.
says like he doesn't know everything about track prep, but like he
Right.
knows he's not the one telling them what to do, but he's obviously an official, so he hears why they're doing stuff. But yeah, it's very interesting to hear like why they're doing certain stuff and all that, especially with weather, hot weather, rain coming in, all that stuff.
Yeah. Right on. No, that actually the more hearing a little bit more of an explanation now, I'm like, I definitely need to check that out because that's the side I'm interested in, truth be
Yeah.
told, right? Like that
If
is the side of it I'm interested in. So
if you're ever
yeah.
at a outlaw late model race and there's I think it's a black UTV with like like a neon green, lime green roll cage, that is him driving around.
Okay.
So
All right. I'll be sure to
he
wait.
sits by where they restart. He's the one like watching the restarts and stuff. He's always in the corner. So yeah, I'd recommend
Right on.
checking it out.
Yeah. That actually kind of intertwines nicely with mine a little bit. So hear me out and I'll explain how I think it connects in a second. But um Mississippi Thunder announced this past week that they're doing something a little bit different with their admission fees. And so they kind of are well, not kind of, they are moving to like a flat fee regardless of the gate you go in. So for adults, which is what interests me the most, was it's $20 whether you get a regular ticket and just go in and sit in the grandstands, or if you go through the pit entrance and get a pit pass, and then you have basically what I would term an all access pass to the whole thing. But the reason I think that it intertwines is because this is an opportunity now for people who might otherwise look at the pit pass fee as prohibitive. I mean, sometimes they're double or more, you
Yeah.
know, to get a pit pass versus a regular. They now have the opportunity. A standard fan now has an opportunity, at least at Mississippi Thunder, to go see another side of the sport. Like I think the sport's really cool from the stands watching the race. Like I do enjoy that, but I personally find the pit area equally as interesting for a variety of different reasons, but it's an entirely different side of it, you know? Like I don't know, you get there somewhat early when you're working, you know, and you have to go up and you have to set up all your equipment. And that's like one little piece of this whole big machinery of this race that goes on. But, you know, I get that we've made fun of me for getting there early before. But I often get there, you know, kind of early. And that's because I want to go in the pits and I want to see if I can run into people I know or try to make friends or just see these freaking awesome race cars up close and personal, you know, and you can see them guys wrenching on them. And I don't know, you know, my ass from a handbasket as far as these cars are concerned, but it's still interesting to see what's going on, you know, and you hear them fire up and you can be literally right next to them. I just think it's another side of the sport for fans. And I'm really excited that they're trying this. I mean, I think there's some risk involved, you know, giving up the guaranteed pit pass because this applies to racers too. It's not like there's a racer pit pass in addition to this. It's just $20.
Anybody
So
any person that
yeah,
enters the pits
any
is 20, yeah.
person, yeah.
Crew
Well,
member, driver, fan.
yeah, and I would I don't remember the exact prices, but I think it's like 12 and under is completely free as long as you
Oh,
know you still
gotcha.
have the waiver. And that was the same at the front. So really all they did is turn their pit entry fee into their general admission
Grandstand.
fee.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so whatever it was before to get in the front gate, now it is to also go through the pit gate. So I don't know. I think it's a really cool attempt to kind of leverage the one thing that dirt racing provides over a lot of other entertainments, which is you can go backstage, for the lack of a better phrase, and see what the hell's going on and what goes into producing that show on the track. So I love this, and it's not without risk. I
Yeah,
think we were
the one issue is there may be people that have never might go to for the first time. Oh, I go in the pits and they don't really know like how to act in the pits. They might be just
yeah
standing in the middle of the way, like not looking where they're going, which obviously in the
yeah.
pit area you can't be doing.
No, I mean they did say on the live, like to the drivers, like, hey, we're gonna ask, you know, that you be a little more cognizant, a little more careful when we first try this. But you know, I do hope there's some patience because I think I still, when I go in the pits, sometimes feel like I make an ass of myself and stand in the way, or you know what I mean. So like, I just hope that there's on the other side, there's a lot of patience, right? We're opening this up to more people than maybe we would normally, but like let's leverage that. Let's teach them how to act. Let's show them where to stand and you know how to do stuff. And I know for me, the first time I was back there, it was super overwhelming. It was just a lot going on that I'd never been a part of. But after a while, I got a pretty good hang of it. You know, so just give the newbies time. Let's be patient. Lots of education. And I think this could be good for us. I'm hopeful to see that it actually like grows their crowds, right? Like that would be the whole point of this. And I hope this has an influence on it because it's one thing to show up at a race at Green Flag and watch a solid racing program and head home. That's one form of entertainment. But like these things can be events. Even weekly shows can be events. You know, you can get up and you get there an hour earlier before Green Flag and walk around and shake some hands and get the scents and smells and hear things and like let all of your senses rock and roll for a little bit and then go watch some racing. So I don't know. I'm excited by this. If you can't tell, Carter, I'm very excited by this. And I'll just kind of leave it with this. When I went to the Outlaws 2 weeks ago with Colton, we did do the little $5 pit pass upgrade, which I think is great for the Outlaws,
Oh
right?
yeah,
It's
I
like
love
just
that.
$5. Yeah,
Yeah.
that accessibility thing. But it was so cute walking around with him because you really just hold your wrist up wherever you go and you can just walk in. And at one point he stops me, he's like, is there anywhere we can't go without just going like this? And I'm like, yeah, we can't go into race control or the kitchen, but otherwise, and
Infield, you
I'm being,
probably went to bed in the infield.
yeah. I mean, I'm being a
Although
little facetious,
you
but
put
it
on a
does, it
green
really,
vest and you can get down there, I'm telling you.
there is that. But like it does open up a whole new thing. And like for a 13-year-old, he thought it was so cool that we could go back in the pits, you know, during the show if we wanted to. Being cautious, but you have that option. It's another side of the sport. You see them racing, but what does it look like when they come back and thrash on it? You want to see? Go respectfully go look. So anyway, um I think this could work out, and I'm hopeful that it draws people because all of a sudden this became a little more interactive, for a lack of a better term. So, but keep your hands to yourself. It's not that kind of interactive. You can just walk around and see more stuff. Anyway, I'm going to end it there, Carter. But I like it, and it's something I'll be keeping an eye on. So, right on. Anyway, you got anything else?
Our fantasy football league that we're looking for
Oh,
interest in.
yeah. We keep bearing the lead with this thing way back here at the back end of the podcast. Um, but yeah, should we like cut a promo? Cut a promo real quick for it.
You're asking the wrong person to cut a promo.
Come on the spot. Give me
Hold on.
something.
A promo, you're not gonna get a promo, but we're hoping to do a Dirt Info podcast fantasy football league, and we want to get 10, 8 would we'd started with 8, but we want at least 10, I think. 12 would be ideal. I think we have 4 people, so we only need 8 more to get 12.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll probably make a post about it on Facebook. It might already be out. But yeah, if anyone's interested and needs a league to join or wants to be in a million leagues like some people like to do, we're looking for 8 people. So we're
Yeah.
not doing a buy-in, right? Or is that still to be
I
decided?
mean, I think it could be up in the air if we get it. I don't think either of us are adverse to it. Low stakes, of course, but
Yeah, nothing crazy.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
pretty much to
I
prevent
don't.
people from quitting and week 6, because that's always annoying.
Right, right. So we could do some sort of low buy-in. We could put up a stack of stickers to the winner or something. I don't know. We could figure something out with that too. But yeah, maybe low or no buy-in. I think pretty standard fit. Like just for those people who are like curious what the rules are, I think they're going to be pretty standard. I don't think we're going to do anything too wonky. Although if there's 10 teams, I'm advocating for 2 quarterbacks. I stand by that.
I'm fine with
The
2 quarterbacks.
yeah. So if we get 10, we might have 2 quarterbacks, but otherwise it'll look pretty normal. Yeah. So I think it'd be really fun to I'm in a couple, you're in a couple, right? It would just be nice to maybe have some listeners join us and we can all talk a little shit and challenge each other, compete against each other and have some fun. So Carter will be prepared with a promo next week. Anyway. All right. With that, I think we should head out. But thanks again for hanging out with us. If you're here, obviously you definitely should be hitting a like. You clearly like us at this point. So just show the world. Appreciate it, and we'll catch you next week.
See ya.